Hey there traders, thanks for joining me for this video. I just wanted to walk you through the fourth week of the year and the trades that I took and how they worked out over at thestockbandit.com. So took a variety of trades, longs and shorts, day trades and swing trades. Some worked better than others, but as you see, week after week here, it's really just a numbers game. It's about getting out effectively when you're wrong and limiting the damage there, and it's about trying to stay in the best trades for the best possible move, because really one good trade can cover a multitude of small losses, and so that's the whole idea here. Let me walk you through these trades along with the setups and how they work. So on Monday, by the way, I'm going to start with the day trades and I'll finish with the swings, just as I typically do. So on Monday, I was looking for MBI. We had this descending trend line right here. I went long on the break of that trend line, the upside break, which was on this bar right here on Monday, and we didn't make much progress there. In fact, I went long on that trend line break and it failed, and I had given it a 20-cent stop. This thing turned around and stopped me out for a 20-cent loss. Next trade was on Tuesday, which was in US Steel. This is letter X, and this stock was just kind of basing beneath this lateral resistance level, and so I went long through the 29 level. That was right here on Tuesday. You can see the high of the day was only 29.12, so this thing made just minimal progress. It was a late session trigger. Got out at the close for a 3-cent loss, so it really just didn't have time to make much progress. Ultimately, the next day it made a really nice move. Also on Tuesday, I took this CTSH, which was right here through this resistance level on this particular bar right there. Was looking to get long through the 71 level, and it really just kind of based around that level. Got out for an 18-cent gain at the closing bell, so really not much progress there during the day. In fact, I can just kind of show you the intraday action here. This thing pushed through that level and held above it pretty nicely, but all in all just kind of moved laterally for much of the day before ultimately just closing it out for a minor gain of 18 cents by the close. So on Wednesday, took several trades. One of them was in this Ryland. I was looking for a breakout through this 19 level. I'll show you the intraday chart here of Ryland, which triggered a buy right here as it hit this 19 level. And this thing really showed some hesitation. In fact, stopped me out right there. Took a 1% loss on a midday pullback before this thing ultimately did move higher and get back through that level to kind of offer a second chance move. But initial trade definitely just didn't want to go just yet. CLF, here's another one. Went long through this resistance zone as this thing broke out and it moved in a big way. So let me show you the intraday chart here in CLF. This thing broke out through this 74.10 level, which is right about there. And it hesitated here for a little while. In fact, it nearly stopped me out right here. And then this thing just turned and lifted for the rest of the day. This thing saw a move higher of about $2.89 to that point right there. So that's a 4% move from my entry to there, to that best level. So it was a really huge, really nice move once it finally got going. And that was one that definitely made the day. Another one on Wednesday was very nice, which was TRIP, which is this TripAdvisor, TRIP. I was looking at this short-term resistance area. A breakout through 30.9 was my trigger price. And you can see here on the intraday chart, we got that break right there. This white line is that trend line that you saw on the daily chart. We saw that breakout right there through the 30.9 level. This thing didn't even look back. It just lifted and just ripped higher to the tune of $1.43, which was a 4.6% rally before it finally backed off. So just another huge winner right here, and made for some really nice fast money throughout Wednesday morning. Another one was in this HGSI, which is Human Genome Sciences. And here's a stock that had been really trying to base out here for several weeks. Saw a decent lift recently and then a little pullback here and kind of some stabilization. I was watching this trend line, looking to get long through that trend line at 940. And I'll show you the move here, which that 940 break took place right here on Wednesday. Early in the session, this thing ran quickly higher to right there. That was at 10.01. That means $10.01. So this was a 61-cent move, or 6.5% move, just over the course of a very short period of time Wednesday morning. So just another huge winner right there. So some really good day trades on Wednesday, which was nice because once Thursday rolled around, there were some failures. I got stopped out several times on Thursday in day trades because the market started higher and then reversed lower. So the setups that I went long on Thursday, I got stopped out of each of them. So let me walk you through those. First one was in this MHK. I was looking for a trend line break here to kind of continue this uptrend, and you see that that trend line got broken. I stopped in on the long side at 64.15. This thing turned around and stopped me out for a 1% loss. So I took my hit there. Took my medicine here in this HOS as well. Stock had broken out of this symmetrical triangle here a couple weeks ago, ran higher, and was challenging this high right here from early November. I went long on a break of that through the 36.30 level. This thing did not make much additional progress though. It ran 31 cents and then it turned back around and stopped me out. So I took a 1% loss there. Also took a loss in this CPX. Have been watching this trend line, and really we had just a stock that was essentially range bound here, and then we had this little descending trend line within the range. So a lift up through there indicated to me that this thing may see some kind of an attempt to move higher within this range, but that did not pan out. In fact, Thursday I stopped in on the long side. That was right there at the $33 level. This thing really just could not maintain that breakout, ultimately rolled over, stopped me out for a 1% loss. Last trade I took on Thursday was in a Celgene CELG, another real bullish pattern within an uptrend. It's a setup that I definitely would take again, but in this particular case it didn't work out. Went long on this trend line break at 74.40, and this thing could not make much progress, rolled over, failed, stopped me out for a 1% loss. So I took several hits on Thursday, but again I limited those losses to 1%. That is in keeping with the day trading strategy that's right there on the site at thestockbandit.com. Now Friday, I took a few hits on the day trade time frame as well. The first one was in this ALXN, which is a pharmaceutical stock within an uptrend. I was watching this trend line right here for a break at 75.40, and you can see on Friday that trend line took place right there. Saw a little bit of upside progress, but not enough to really prompt an exit before this thing turned back around and stopped me out. So took my 1% loss there. Also Friday took this P10, which is Patterson Energy. Was watching this 18 area, which was starting to get broken on Thursday, and I just really looked for some continuation to the downside as it's been multi-week support. I went short through 17.85, and this thing only went a few cents lower before it reversed back up, reclaimed that level, and lifted to stop me out for a 1% loss. And then finally was this CRM, which is a stock that's really been kind of all over the map. I really was just watching this short-term uptrend channel on the daily chart. Stock had seen a really strong trend line lift right there and a break of that trend line. Then we saw a gap to the upside and then a few more days of an advance. But then on Thursday, this thing finished weak and acted like a little bit of fatigue was setting in. So I was looking for a break of this rising trend line right here. That would take place at 115.20. And that triggered just after the open on Friday, and this thing went a little bit lower, went about 40 cents lower before it turned back around and reversed higher to kind of reclaim this channel here and stopped me out for a 1% loss there. So Thursday and Friday, not very good. Day trades on the week were a bit of a wash. There was a little bit of profit there, but then the ultimate difference on the week came through the swing trades. Let me walk you through those. EBIX, which was a stock that I had gone long through this trend line break here a few weeks ago. This thing kind of took its time, but ultimately I closed this thing out on Monday, which was right here after my stop was hit, and closed that out for a 4.8% gain. So this is a really nice, kind of a steady, pain-free move. Also took this Shutterfly, which is now starting to lift again, so I definitely think it belongs on the radar here. But what I had been looking for here was the stock had made a low and then briefly undercut that low, but reclaimed it on a closing basis. So I was watching for this trend line right here, and I went long, and this thing started to inch its way up, but it never really accelerated higher, and that's really what I was looking for. And so this thing started to kind of hesitate here, and then it ultimately stopped me out on Tuesday, which was right here, for a 0.8 loss. That's a less than 1% loss on a swing trade. So what I was expecting was kind of a short squeeze type of move, as this thing had broken this downtrend here, by moving laterally mostly, and then lifted through this trend line. And I really kind of expected kind of a squeeze type of move. It never really panned out. So I kept aggressively raising my stop and ultimately got taken out for almost a wash, but again, 0.8% loss there. On Tuesday, I closed out this RCL, which is Royal Caribbean Cruises. We had this big breakout right here just a couple of weeks ago. Nice push higher, and then a pullback to kind of test that and a lift. So this thing acted like maybe it wanted to go again. So I gave this thing a shot on the long side and ultimately got stopped out on Tuesday for a 42-cent loss. Here again, this thing triggered on Monday to go long. So I did, and I aggressively raised my stop as well. Got taken out on Tuesday because I really wasn't expecting this thing to hesitate further. I expected it to either go or fail, and so I took a very small 1.4% loss there. On Wednesday, I closed out half of my position as FCX. Went long on this little bull pennant breakout. That took place right there at 44.25. And the first target was hit on day one, which was this level right here. Let me just kind of zoom out right there. And you can see how important that area was. So I took half profits right there on Wednesday, which was a 4.5% profit. And then on Thursday, my second profit was hit, or second target was hit, I should say, which was just shy of this prior high right here. Ultimately, this stock did push through that level, but I closed out the second half on Thursday for a very nice 9.4% move just over the course of 2 days. So there's a look at how week 4 went down. I hope that it was a good trading week for you. If you're looking for some additional trading ideas to add to your own, come check us out at thestockbandit.com. It's a place you know that you can always find ideas and analysis to help you in the current conditions. You can always see what I'm trading and why and where I'm trading them and how I'm managing those trades along the way. I'd love to work with you. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great week of trading. I will see you soon with more videos, but in the meantime, trade like a bandit.